What's going on here is that this is pulling out all of the following IDs, all of these, no matter how many there are. So there might be 5,000 if a user is following 5,000 other users. So the way to fix this is to use what's called an SQL subselect. And we're going to start refactoring this by changing the question mark to be a symbol. You'll see why in a second, why I'm doing this. So this now takes a hash, key value pairs, following IDs, colon, following IDs, and then user ID, ID. Save that. Still green. And now what we can do is replace this following IDs list with what's called a subselect, as I mentioned. So this is like this. We're going to select followed ID from relationships, where follower ID is equal to colon user ID. So this is just a string now. This is an SQL string. But what this syntax here does is interpolates an escaped version of the value corresponding to this key, in this case user ID. So now we can replace this here. And this is going to make a query that looks like this. Select star from micropost where user ID in this subselect. Or user ID is equal to the given ID. So it'll interpolate these. This will be something like 1. This will be 1. So let's go over here and save it and see what happens. Oh, we've got a failure. Line 93. So now the posts from Lana are not being found. Let's tail the log to see what happened there. So we can see here that the actual query being executed has this raw colon user ID. And that's because this here is now just a string. It's not an array. So instead of using this key value pair, we can actually just interpolate it directly into this as a string. Like this. And now it's passing. So now this arranges to put that set inclusion inside the database. Rather than pulling out all of the IDs, it makes a subselect that contains those IDs, and that's far more efficient. So this is it. This is a working feed. This will scale up pretty nicely even with thousands of users. Of course, if you ever reached a scale where you had hundreds of thousands or millions of users, you'd have to do something fancier than this. But this is quite good, and certainly serves our purposes well for now. So let's rerun the whole test suite. And there we go, everything is green. Our tests say this is working. Let's take a look at the app. Refresh it. And there we go. It's the feed of the users being followed. Check it out. So if I unfollow this user, now the feed shouldn't have that user's micropost anymore. There it is. Go to users here, unfollow. refollow. Follow. Go back to users, refollow. Looks like it's working. So this completes the sample application. It's now done. We've got this great core with the user sign up, log in, log out, account activation, password reset, and now we've added microposts and this social layer where users can follow each other. So let's deploy this thing to production, see if it works. Now we can push up. And deploy. All right, let's check it out. By the way, I mentioned here that there was a reason I put in this user ID rather than the question mark, and that's because it appears in two different places. So it's more convenient to use the key value pair in that circumstance. But in any case, it should be working. Let's take a look at it. Oh, that's right, we need to run the migrations. Let's reset the database. And now we'll run the migration and see the database with the sample data. All right, let's check it out. And there we go. It's working. All right.